Good day, everyone. Meteorologist Mark Molnar here. It's great to have you here with me for this edition of MeteoMark's Weather. We are going to be tracking a potential disturbance, tropical wave, whatever you want to call it here, as a major slug of moisture is going to move up through the central Caribbean associated with this right around the 22nd to the 23rd. You can see how much heavy rain could be producing here with this storm. Does this storm have any chance of becoming anything tropical? We'll take a look at all the details with this. We do have a little area in the Eastern Pacific that bears watching, but I'm not overly impressed with that. And we'll be tracking some very strong thunderstorms here into parts of the Deep South and eventually the plains, as we do have an enhanced risk of severe weather that could produce some tornado action as we head into Sunday and into the new week. And we'll be looking ahead to your Memorial Day outlook to see what your weather holds. Will it be stormy or will it be sunny? And could we have a typhoon forming here into the Western Pacific? It is quite possible as we head through the end of the month. And don't forget, if you haven't watched my 2024 hurricane outlook, I have a link in the description down below and at the end of this video. So check that out if you haven't already. I am working on my summer 2024 outlook. I hope to have that out in the next week or so. Let's get into it. For your tropics here, starting off with the GFS, and we'll transition over to the European model. Look at this. Watch this area of energy off the southeast coast, because we do start off pretty quiet here across much of the Caribbean and main development region out here in the Atlantic. High pressure is way up here towards the Azores. There's that piece of energy towards the 20th here as we head into Monday and into Tuesday. See how this is kind of just hanging out northeast of the Bahamas. Now watch these two areas come together. You got all this tropical moisture bottled up here across Central America and northwestern South America. You got this piece of energy here across the areas of Florida, the Bahamas, and southeastward here. Look at this surge of tropical moisture as we head towards the 22nd into the 23rd. There's going to be some serious flooding issues here, even if this doesn't develop into anything. Look at this. As we head throughout the 23rd, it's pretty much targeting here on this model right around eastern Hispaniola, the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, even over here towards the Virgin Islands. Look at this slug of tropical moisture. Jamaica and the Cayman Islands, you'll get some outer bands from this, but it looks like on this run, we're looking a little bit further to the east for you. And as we head into the 24th, into the 25th, there is that low pressure initializing. Bermuda, you might be in the crosshairs here as we head towards the 25th into the 26th. But look at this. We're still funneling that tropical moisture here from Central America and South America here all the way up into this area of low pressure. So heavy rains are going to continue throughout the week here. And look at this. This leaves behind an area of energy towards the 26th into the 27th. We could be looking at those showers and thunder showers heading towards Jamaica and Central America here as we head towards the 28th into the 29th. So things remaining very active here. It almost looks like something is trying to form here down towards Nicaragua and Costa Rica. We'll have to keep an eye on it. And this looks like the tail end of a frontal boundary at this point as high pressure builds off, retreats off the U.S. East Coast here. So we're going to have to keep an eye on this. The Caribbean is looking very active as we continue in time here. Here's another area of disturbed weather by the 30th heading into Nicaragua and Costa Rica. And this actually spread some very heavy rain up towards Honduras and eventually Belize here. So something we'll have to keep an eye on here. Hopefully we can get this into Mexico, because I've had a lot of viewers say here into Mexico, it is a scorching drought, and that's where we have a lot of wildfires going on there into parts of Mexico. So that is not good news. But as we continue in time here towards June 3rd, let's just get to that last frame. You can see there across the Caribbean, lots of showers and thunder showers. By this point, though, things look a little quieter, but very active here across Central America. So if we look at the European model here in the tropics, you can see pretty quiet through this week until we get to about the 20th into the 21st. Look at the Bahamas right down here into parts of Jamaica, the Cayman Islands. This is that area of disturbed weather that we're going to have to watch here, as I showed you on the GFS as well. That energy heading south. Could we have an area of low pressure forming out of this potential tropical wave activity towards the 21st into the 22nd? Look at how much rain's going to be falling around Jamaica, the southeastern Bahamas, eastern Cuba, Haiti, Dominican Republic, even as far east as Puerto Rico here as we head throughout Wednesday, Thursday, and into Friday. Look at this. This starts to spread east. It does have that direct tropical connection here into the central Caribbean. And look at that. That's just going to continue as we head throughout the week. This isn't going anywhere anytime soon. You do see most of the energy heading towards northeastward here, east of Bermuda, though, by the 25th. So this is something we'll have to keep an eye on, but look at how much moisture is left in its wake here. So could this kind of hang out and form something? We'll definitely have to keep an eye on it as water temperatures are running very high. And look at this, by the 26th, we have another area of disturbed weather here towards Trinidad, Tobago, the Barbados area, all the way up into the Lesser Antilles, and right down here into the southern Caribbean, another area of low pressure. So we're going to have to watch this. Things looking very active as we head through the end of the month here. Look at this tropical wave lifting towards Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic by the 27th. And then down in here into Central America, looking very inclement. Unfortunately, here into Mexico, it doesn't look like there's a whole lot of moisture to satisfy any getting rid of this drought. And thanks to Tropical Tidbits for this information. Look at La Nina here, really strengthening those darker blues showing up here into the eastern Pacific. And look at the main development region of the Atlantic here into the Caribbean. It is just looking like bathwater. This is more reminiscent of mid to late summer than it is mid to late spring. This is kind of crazy. Even the Gulf warming up as well, and we got some warm spots just off the southeast coast here and even off the New England coast. Look at that. As you can see on our ENSO index here, we've kind of leveled off. We're just technically still in a very weak El Nino, but I expect this to start the decline once again as we head here into June. All right, so over the next week, precipitation anomalies here. You can see what's going on right into the north central part of the Caribbean here towards Jamaica, as well as the island of Hispaniola and Puerto Rico, southeastern Bahamas as well, near the Turks and Caicos. This is where we're going to see a tremendous amount of precipitation, heavy rain, tropical rains with that potential tropical wave. Now look at as we head towards, say, the third week, fourth week of May, we're going to continue to see that conglomeration of moisture increasing here across much of the Caribbean and the Bahamas. Now as we head towards the first week of June, look what's happening. That's heading further west here towards South Florida, the western Bahamas, and towards Central America. You can see there in tropical convergence zone down here. That's going to continue to bump northward here towards the Lesser Antilles. You can see this is right around that second week of June. This is a massive surge of tropical moisture. Even up the East Coast, you can see positive precipitation anomalies here. So we're going to continue to watch for that as we head towards, say, this is heading into the third week of June, just about right around the first day of summer. Look at this tropical surge just continuing further to the north here. And as we head through the rest of your June, that fourth week of June, look at this. This really spells trouble, even in the Western Gulf here as well, something we'll have to keep a very close eye on. All right, so the European model precipitation outlook here, look at this. So as we head towards the middle part of the week, there is that big area of low pressure here, barreling towards Jamaica, where you could get up 90 to 120 millimeters of rain. That's 3 to 4 solid inches. So this is something we'll have to keep an eye on. Bahamas, about 1.5 inches, 2 inches, up towards 35 to 60 millimeters. Even in the parts of southern Mexico, El Salvador, Guatemala here, we'll have to watch out for some heavy rains. 45 to 70 millimeters, not out of the question. 1.5 to 2 inches. And here we go into the eastern Caribbean here with our European model. As I said before, most of it is right up here through Jamaica and Haiti and Dominican Republic, southeastern Bahamas. So as we flip over to the GFS here, there it is. GFS is further east on this, storm here as we head through this week, this new week. Look at that. Yeah. Haiti, Puerto Rico in the crosshairs of this tremendous amount of heavy rain, 100 to as much as 200 millimeters of rainfall. That is 4 to 8 inches. Stay safe. We look in the Western Caribbean with our GFS. We can go further out with this through about, there it is. So as we head through the end of the month, look at that surge of moisture here into Central America. Even El Salvador, Belize, Guatemala, South Mexico. These areas in the yellow, 100, 150, almost 200 millimeters of rain. That's 4 to 8 inches. There's that big bullseye with our potential tropical system here into the North Central Caribbean. So the rest of your Saturday evening here, we are looking at a slight risk of storms, strong to severe thunderstorms across northern Florida, southeastern Georgia here, a marginal chance here into the darker green, as well as the upper Midwest here into Wisconsin, upper UP of Michigan. Watch out, damaging wind, large hail, isolated tornado potential. For your Sunday, things really start to escalate here. Florida here, a marginal risk, but it's right here into central Kansas. That is an enhanced risk of strong to severe thunderstorms. Tornado potential is running pretty high here from Dodge City over to Wichita and all areas in between here. And sad to say, into Monday, it's the same areas being targeted here. A slight risk of severe weather from Kansas City, Wichita area, all the way up to Omaha here. Watch out. Damaging wind, large hail, tornado threat continuing, and a marginal risk as far east as Wisconsin. Now look at your day 4 risk here. This is very rare to see that rare 30% probability, that enhanced risk spreading eastward here into the eastern plains and parts of the Midwest here, just west of Chicago, even in the slight risk here. So this is going to be a massive storm system that's going to spread a very big amount of severe weather, tornado threat running high. And this would be for Tuesday, by the way. So looking at your future radar here, we're going to continue through Saturday evening here. You can see most of the activity. We do have a line of strong thunderstorms up here into parts of Wisconsin. The southeast and east coast, that's where the activity is going to lie as we head into overnight. That rainfall dwindling. Thankfully, here across the northeast will set you up for a nice Sunday. But look at here across the southeast. Yeah, some of these storms, even by 2 a.m., nocturnal storms. Some of these could actually be pretty severe. So as we continue in time here, you can see that we have an upper level low here across the southern Appalachians, and we have little vortices out here forming a couple different lows, and then that big complex of storms out here across the central Gulf of Mexico. And look how persistent these thunderstorms are as we head through 6 p.m. on Sunday, 11 p.m. Sunday night. This is where we're going to be looking at for potential energy diving southeastward towards the Caribbean. But the Bahamas, you could get some heavier downpours, some stronger storms here. So watch out. Lightning, heavy rain, gusty winds, a potential. And then up here across the plains, this is where things really get cranking here as we head on into Sunday. Look at some of these storm complexes by 8 p.m. Definitely the storm chasers out here will be going crazy with some of these complexes. You know, there's that enhanced risk of severe weather here, especially across central Kansas. As we head later afternoon into the evening hours, look at that explosion here towards 10 p.m. on Sunday evening, and that spreads eastward towards Kansas City to become a nocturnal tornado threat as we head into Sunday night into early Monday morning. All right, GFS here, Synoptic scale, and then we'll head off to the European. There's that severe weather outbreak that ensues on Sunday. Look at this Sunday evening in particular here across the plains, looking very problematic. The rain here across the east spreading off the southeast coast, leaving a very nice day here into parts of the northeast. So looking nice into your Monday as well as high pressure. But look at this. There it is again on Monday evening. A very intense showers and thunderstorms heading into Tuesday. So this is Tuesday evening at 8 p.m. Look at this on the 21st. So we're looking very stormy here across the upper plains, Midwest here towards Chicago. And that's severe weather. Let me just back that up. There it is for Monday into Tuesday. That's spreading eastward for Wednesday. We'll have to watch for some of these showers and thunderstorms to get a little bit strong into parts of the northeast, but not too terribly strong this time of day. That moves off the U.S. East Coast. There's that area of low pressure out here towards Bermuda showing up. But look at our next system here into the 24th, into the 25th. There is another round of very strong thunderstorms here across parts of the plains, and that'll be spreading eastward here as we head into Memorial Day. There's a very vigorous system here into parts of the Ohio Valley. There it is. Looking a little bit more optimistic here in the northeast on the GFS. Still some washout conditions here across the mid-Atlantic. But then as we head towards the 26th, Sunday, and into Monday, yeah, it almost looks like the GFS is more optimistic because it holds off all the heaviest rain until after Memorial Day here. I'll show you the European model momentarily here. It looks a little bit more pessimistic. And then as we head towards the 31st into the 1st, it looks like two systems combining forces to bring a coastal low here as we get this piece of energy from the Ohio Valley moving off the U.S. East Coast. All right, so if we take a look at the European model here, you can see that storminess spreading east, confirming what the GFS was kind of onto here. You can see as we head throughout the weekend, the rest of Saturday, storms spreading east here, that low pressure off the U.S. East Coast. And as we continue to go in time here, you can see the 19th into the 20th, we get that disturbance, that energy funneling across Florida here into parts of the Bahamas. So watch this piece of energy, European model indicating this is going to spread to the southeast here. Another big round of storms here across the northern plains. And let's just take a look at the overall pattern here. There it is. I'm going to, I showed you across the, tropical update here across the Bahamas. And here it is, that big low pressure system forming into parts of the plains here and spreading northeastward, that massive severe weather outbreak as we head towards the early to mid part of the week here. Look at that spreading eastward towards the 22nd here. So as we get right around Wednesday, storms firing from Texas all the way to Ohio and even Ontario here. So damaging wind, large hail threat. That kind of weakens as it spreads eastward. It does get as far east as the East Coast as we head into Thursday. Maybe some stronger, isolated, severe storms here. And then look at this, a severe weather outbreak across parts of the mid plains here, stretching to the eastern Mississippi River Valley and Ohio River Valley. That spreads to the east. Look at this. This is setting up right for Memorial Day weekend, Saturday. Look at this area of low pressure. This is kind of like a coastal low. That's terrible. It does start to move out, though, by Sunday. But look what's right behind it here. So as we head towards Memorial Day, this is from Cleveland, Cincinnati, Buffalo, down to Tennessee, and parts of the Deep South. We are looking at a major storm system that could be very stormy for Memorial Day across parts of the East. And here we go with liquid equivalent precipitation here on the GFS as we continue through the rest of the weekend. You can see those precipitation amounts are going to be pretty prevalent here across the Southeast, and then from the plains into the upper Midwest here. And then, of course, towards the end of the week across Texas and the Deep South, you can see the same areas getting hit over and over again. And, we'll add a little bit here into the Northeast as well. But as we head through the end of the month, through May 31st and June 1st, look at where all the activity is. This is where the storminess will lie from the central states all the way to the Southeast here. And even Western Canada into parts of northwestern Pacific Northwest here getting in on the act. Look at Southeast Canada, though, into parts of New England. Very active here across much of North America. These will be getting into the reds here, 2 to 4 inches. The yellows and the oranges, 4 to as much as 8 inches. And just take a look at the European model here through this week. Actually, that is not the product I wanted. Here it is. European model. Look at this. So, yeah, as we head through the weekend, we're getting some rain here across parts of the Northeast, 1/10 to 1/4 inch. But here in the Southeast, showers and storms continuing into the plains as well. So as we head through, this takes us through just Wednesday here. You can see, 2 to 4 inches locally, higher into parts of the plains, Southeast, and parts of the Mid-Atlantic here, anywhere from about 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch. So looking at the upper air pattern for this week, you can see, look what's going on here. This is a big ridge. This is a big turnaround from the last couple weeks here. Ridge building in the east, trough out west here. Let's see if that continues on our climate model. So continuing here on our climate model, you can see as we head through next weekend, there it is, just in time for Memorial Day weekend. You knew a trough was coming back to the east, but look at even the West Coast is in a trough. This is looking like a very active Memorial Day weekend. I hate to say that to everyone, but it's looking very inclement. But as we get towards Monday into Tuesday, a ridge does start to build ever so slightly across the east and the west coast here. And as we continue in time into June, you can see how active things are going to be here through June 5th. Look at this big trough developing here into parts of the east. We're looking very stormy here across this region. And that lifts out, but we continue to keep that proverbial trough here through the mid part of June. And look at that. Yeah, June 14th into the 15th, 16th. It's going to be a very active late May and June here, storm-wise here into parts of the east. So for your Canadian weather outlook, yep, I switched over to precipitation depiction because over the next several days, we're going to have some snowfall here across the northern plains, as well as the Rockies of Canada here. And look at this, as we head towards the 20th into the 21st, we got a few storms here, one in western Ontario, eastern Ontario, and then up into the Canadian Maritimes, and another storm system just off the Canadian coastline here of the West Coast and the Rockies. That producing mountain snow, valley rain. Our next big system here spreading across Ontario and Quebec as we head towards the 22nd to the 23rd midweek here. Snow all the way up into Hudson Bay here. High pressure building in here across central Canada towards Manitoba and Saskatchewan here as another low pressure replaces it here towards the 26th, providing some very beneficial rains here. Hopefully we can get those rains spreading a little bit farther to the west here where some of those wildfires are occurring. But look at this, as we head towards the 28th, 29th, eastern Canada looks very stormy. In fact, some thunderstorms all the way up into parts of Quebec here. So that's something we'll have to keep an eye on. Clearing out here across much of western and central Canada. Look at on the back side of this system, though, this big old low pressure system towards the 30th. Look what's happening here. Snow, wet snowflakes on the backside here into western parts of Ontario, eastern Manitoba. It's quite possible. So cold air filtering in on the backside. And as we head towards June 1st here, look at this low pressure system off the east coast here. Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, maybe some heavy rain and wind in your forecast here as we stretch into the early part of June here. Look at that, a massive low bombing towards Newfoundland here. And look at this, severe weather in eastern Ontario by the first week of June. June 3rd, it looks possible. All right, so for Canada here, you're looking at heavy precipitation, mainly in the form of rain across much of eastern Canada, as well as western Canada. We do have some across central Canada, too, as we head through the end of the month. But look at, here are the trends, west coast of Canada, and then a little bit here from the central part of Canada all the way through eastern Canada. We're looking at anywhere in the red here, 60 to 100 millimeters. That's about 2.5 to almost 4 inches, and then 100 to almost 200 here into the yellows and some of the darker oranges. That is a solid 4 to as much as 7 inches. And here into the eastern Pacific, there is that storminess activity, that 20% chance through day 7. We'll keep an eye on it here, but at this time, the chances have dwindled. Conditions are not going to look as good in the eastern Pacific as we switch into La Nina mode. All right, GFS on the eastern Pacific here. Let's see if there's any development. There is a slight risk. This has been trending further south and weaker. I'm not very impressed this year with the eastern Pacific as we head into La Nina. There will be some areas. This is toning down hour by hour here, 10% here on the GFS. Look at this. So this is by June 1st. We do start to see southern Mexico and Central America getting in on some activity here. So that might provide Mexico here with some beneficial rain. So as we head to the western Pacific, Philippines look really nice here as we head into the early part of the week. Storm systems off East China and Japan here. Intertropical convergence zone is looking rather impressive out here. There's a big old area of low pressure out here. Let's see if that actually develops into anything. Well, it does have quite a bit in the way of moisture. This acting like a brick wall here, our big storm system, Synoptic storm, stretching from northern Vietnam, Hong Kong area, Taiwan, and just south of Japan here. Philippines still looking really nice. You're getting a really nice stretch of weather here. Please enjoy it because we're barreling right into our, typhoon season here. We not really officially have a start or an end. It could happen at any time, but look at this. This is what I wanted to show you. By the 24th, look at this area of low pressure. The GFS really holding on to the fact that we could have a tropical storm developing northeast of the Philippines here. And look at this. It does start to recurve. Possible typhoon, as we head towards, just southeast of Okinawa here by the 26th. So this is something we're going to have to keep a very close eye on. The good news is for Japan this time of year, look at another big strong cold front. So it's likely to recurve this system well out into the northern Pacific here. So it's something we'll have to keep an eye on here. It combines forces and then heads right up into the Aleutian Islands. You do know that this does affect our weather here, especially in eastern North America. So we could be heading towards a very stormy time of it as this big low pressure winds up and causes, that correlation here across eastern North America. So something to really keep an eye on. I got plenty more weather for you in just a moment, but take a look at my affiliate. Do you want some awesome maps? Check this out. I am proud to announce that I am now an affiliate with Trilogy Maps. TrilogyMaps.com, bringing you the most digital, customizable maps found nowhere else on the internet. These maps are simply stunning. It's an advanced layering system that makes these maps great for making forecast maps with ease or any other maps that you would like to display important information on. The resolution on these maps is simply amazing. From the detail of everything here in the States, and you can also create stunning, digital, professional layered maps from also across the entire world. And don't forget, in checkout, the discount code option, use my code, MeteoMark, hit apply, and you will get 20% off your order. So if you want the most professional, customizable, and affordable weather maps found nowhere else on the internet, look no further than TrilogyMaps.com. Link in the description down below along with your discount code. So temperature-wise here, the heat and humidity is going to be building. Watch this area across Texas and the southern plains. 90s, that's going to be pushing towards the northeast here. You can see temperatures on Sunday and into Monday. Look at these 80s soaring all the way up into the Ohio Valley. 90s and even some 100s here into west central Texas and 90s here into Florida. This is just going to continue to build. Look at throughout the northeast. This is by Tuesday. We're getting into the mid 80s here across much of the northeast. And as we continue to cruise through the week here, Wednesday, look at this. This is pretty intense. Mid to upper 80s across the Ohio Valley into the northeast. As we head through Thursday, look what's going on here. We do have a cooler shot here across the northern plains into the lower 60s, but look at the heat building across the East Coast here. You can see those temperatures really bumping up. But by next, Friday here, May 24th, as we head towards the Memorial Day weekend, the heat is really on here across parts of the Gulf Coast and the Mid-Atlantic, but we start to cool things down. Yeah, you guessed it. The activity across the northern tier is going to increase as we head towards Memorial Day with more rain and storms. Extended outlook from hometown viewers, Binghamton to Scranton, Upper Susquehanna, River Valley of New York and Pennsylvania. As you can see, Sunday we clear it out nicely up near 80 degrees. Monday as well. Look at the heat building though. By Tuesday and Wednesday we'll be pushing up towards the upper 80s, near 90 degrees. The heat and humidity building on the backside of a Bermuda high pressure system. Watch out, though, because we could have some few stronger thunderstorms Wednesday afternoon and evening in particular into Thursday more likely as we get a strong cold front moving towards the region. As always, thank you for joining me for this edition of MeteoMark's Weather. Also, don't forget to join me on Facebook at MeteoMark, also Weather Northeastern, also Twitter at Weather Eastern. Don't forget it's MeteoMark.com, and don't forget, if you want to send me a coffee, there is a link, Super Thanks. You can smash that Super Thanks button or my PayPal link in the description down below. You can buy me a cup of coffee. Thanks, everyone. Share that video. Subscribe if you haven't. Smash that like button.